Welcome to our BT Talks. This is episode number 8. Today we have Xavier Richardson, who is a former TF and is here to talk about his experiences. Welcome, Xavier. So first question. Hey, no worries. Tell us about yourself.
So my name is Xavier. I'm a senior now at NYU, studying teaching. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, but I moved to New York City for school. And yeah, I have a lot of big dreams, I suppose, in terms of education.
Well, do tell. What are those big dreams? I've heard these big
I mean,
dreams, so we should share.
yeah, my ultimate like goal is to be like Secretary of Education. But my real big dream is to kind of restructure how we do high school in the US because I feel like it's a lot of shuffling between classes and not really caring about what you're learning and not teaching the right things or teaching anything that matters. Um, and I think a real big problem is too much standardization. I feel like people in specific areas know what they want to teach, what they need to teach, and I feel like we don't give individual people enough power. So I'd hope to kind of rectify that when I get older.
Well, we look forward to that day when you're the Secretary of Ed. Um, what motivated you to want to be a teaching fellow? Was it last summer, right? 2019.
Yes, sir. Um, I don't know. I was just looking through like different teaching programs because I think the biggest key to being a great teacher is just experience. Where it's like, like going through the teaching program at my school. Obviously, you learn from books and you learn talking to your professors and I get presentations and all that. But all of that, in a sense, goes out the window when you step in the classroom. Where you're just like, there's a bunch of kids and they're looking at me and now we have to like learn something. So I think that was my main thing. I wanted to get in the classroom, I wanted to like figure out who I was as a teacher and how I could start building that up. And I saw a breakthrough and I was like, this looks great. This looks amazing. I applied and you liked me enough. So that's what it was.
Wait, awesome. Yeah, I mean, we did. One question I do want to bring up about your experience was you had applied to the program all the way on the other side of the country, right? And am I right? Was it the first time you were in California when you did your fellowship?
I had visited once when I was like 11, but I don't really remember it that well. But for all intents, yeah, like that was like a 1 day trip or something when I was little. But
Okay.
yeah, it was a big shift,
Yeah.
which I really loved. I really enjoy my time in California. It's a place that I would consider moving back to after I graduate. Like that's after being there for a month and some change, I was like, this is tight. I enjoyed the sunshine. The beach was nice. But yeah, I enjoy moving far from home. I feel like, and I guess I'm lucky enough I don't get like super homesick, and my parents like really instilled in me like a good foundation. But like I moved, I guess it's like a 10-11 hour drive from North Carolina up to New York, and I was like, well, California, I've never really been there, so let's go.
Awesome. And we're glad that you came. So what was your experience as a teaching fellow? Tell us about, the day to day. What are some things that you remember teaching?
I think my day to day might differ a little bit from a lot of teaching fellows because I'm definitely a procrastinator. I'm not gonna lie. It takes me like forever to get the ball rolling. Um, and sometimes that would be just like having a plan for class done a couple days before, but then the morning of, and I'm like going back over it, and I'm like, okay, like what am I doing? And I'm like, this is all garbage. And I like throw it out, and then we do something completely different. And it was a lot of that, which I thought was really fun. And all of my students, came along for the ride, and I feel like they really learned and got a lot from it. Um, but it was a lot of that. The teaching side was amazing. I had a pretty small group throughout most of my teaching experience, so it wasn't super crazy. Um, a lot of cheering, so much cheering at lunchtime, where it's like I'm glad that I don't get headaches very easily. It's just like it's the energy. It's good energy. Never bad but it's just like a lot. It's a lot to take in, and it was consistent through the whole summer, which was crazy. Um, yeah, I think my experience as a TF was a big learning experience as well, in the sense of just learning how to present information and trying to get kids to care about it, especially because like I was teaching science, which I feel like is really easy, especially when I was in seventh grade, to just like not care about. Where it's like, oh yeah, we're learning about rocks, whatever. Who cares about rocks? But if you can somehow convince a 13-year-old that rocks may be a little more important than they or a little more interesting than they originally thought, I thought I won that day. If I can just get you to care a little bit more, see why learning about diseases is important, which is crazy to think about now because we had a whole unit on communicable diseases, and hopefully the kids learn something. They're like, oh yeah, we already knew about that. I know not to cough around these people.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is not a question I had on my little list and one you don't know, but I'm curious about what would you I'm fairly certain our students are going to watch this. Your students are going to watch this from when you taught when we post it. But so what would you tell them right now? What is something you would tell your students?
I would say good job on making it this far. It's been stressful. It's been a real stressful past. Gosh, it's like I guess 6 months ish. Um, but keep going. Don't lose any ambition. I think if especially if like if you have your grandparents if you're in your life and you've talked to them about like their struggles and all that growing up, you realize that it's kind of the hardest parts that are the most interesting stories. It's the hardest part that really helps you and builds you when you're going forward. And also to just get out, go outside a little bit. Keep your 6 feet, but go outside. Um, and when the time comes to like go off to college, to like go. I understand that like price is everything. I grew up super poor, so like I needed that scholarship. But if you can get away from home, like go fly.
Awesome. Well said. And last question. So what is something you would tell anyone wanting to get involved with Breakthrough?
Do it. In any capacity, especially as a teaching fellow, but in any capacity, just do it. I mean, obviously I can't speak for other sites, but at least do Breakthrough San Juan. If nothing else, do it because it'll really build you as a person, build you as an educator. And even if you like go through it and you're like, wow, I hate teaching and never want to be a teacher, like, at least you know that, and at least you have a new appreciation for what it means to be a teacher. So I think a lot of people later on in life when you get parents, like I've started to communicate more with parents within my own different teaching experiences. And sometimes it's hard to understand what it's like to be in a teacher's shoes. So I think even if you can get that experience to try and help your community, help these kids through a summer, and now you have a new perspective on what it's like to be a teacher. Because it's, you see it as a student all your life, but you never realize how different it is on the other side of the desk.
Well said, Xavier. Xavier, it's such a pleasure to talk to you and reconnect. And for everything that you're doing that you did for our students and what you're doing with the community now, and then your future ambition, like it really, I think it's so impactful and powerful. So thanks for coming to our 8th episode. Xavier, it's great to have you.
It was so much fun.
All right, take care. Bye.